Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us in this focus on ARV, Learn by Doing. Today, we're going to talk about improve your precognitive remote viewing with GARV. GARV is Group ARV, Group Associative Remote Viewing. In many ways, what I'm going to share with you now is a culmination of many, many, many years, probably over 20 years of work that I've done in this general area. And I believe this is very important and something which could help each of you. So let's get right to it. We are going to make a Super Bowl prediction. And the Super Bowl is this Sunday, as most of you know. Now, here's the outline. I'm going to spend, it kind of merges together, but about a half an hour um, sort of discussing some of the theory, the way I now understand all of this. I'll get into the physics at a low level that you'll be able to understand, but I believe it's important to understand it to help with what you're doing because you want to get that into your intellect, even though you set all of that aside when you're doing your remote viewing and feedback, but having it in your gut and feeling comfortable that this amazing thing is something which is understandable, which is something which we can wrap our minds around to a certain extent. And then we'll get into the Super Bowl prediction. Here you'll be making your remote viewing prediction. I will be doing after this, I won't be doing it while we're here, but I'll be telling you a bit about my analysis, which is the group analysis. And then on Sunday after the event, I will send out a link with your feedback. And I hope each of you will do a really detailed positive feedback session. That's the key to GARV. You know, the prediction is not over until you do your feedback session. Talk a little bit more about that. Now, here's a well-known and important quote from Albert Einstein. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. So the intuitive mind is a sacred gift. And I am going to tell you that precognitive remote viewing, GARV, is a sacred gift in the sense that he meant it. And that will be clear, I think, as we proceed here. I want to show you two examples of GARV. These are recent, February 6th here. Here was the target, hidden target. And you can just see it got almost everything. Peaks, outside, clouds, trees. There are probably trees there, but I don't have to mark that. Biologic, man-made structure, people. I mean, captured the essence of all of this. Solid, wasn't rectangular, but is certainly an object on a surface, man-made movements, biological, wood. This is not accident. This is something your intellect could never do. This is indeed a sacred thing if you will, because you are doing precognition. This information came from the feedback session that this person did when they saw this. And I think most people do not spend enough time on their feedback session, and so they don't necessarily do that well. Also, there are other things I'll tell you. Here is another wonderful example. Look at this leopard, panther. And some people might think that's a difficult one. They say they can't do animals. But here, sentient, organic, got the green background, got black. Now, there's stuff here that in fact is wrong. But enough was correct. Plus, as I was judging this, once you see that, you give this very high marks as a judge. And where does that information come from? It comes from the intuitive connection with the entangled information from the feedback session. This is the way it is. Okay, I'm now going to get into a little bit of the physics. This is all about, in my opinion, quantum mechanics. And there are lots of interpretations of quantum mechanics. This is the best one, and it is so relevant to what we're doing. I want to tell you a little bit more about it. Kramer proposed what he called the transactional interpretation of quantum mechanics. TIQM considers quantum mechanical wave function as both retarded. Don't worry about that. Notice forward in time, backwards in time. His model connects these two directly, which is, guess what we're doing? This is just what we're doing. He has captured what remote viewing, precognitive remote viewing is all about. And these waves engage in a quantum handshake, the forward and the backward. And I love that term handshake, and I use it a lot. In fact, I'll use it here, and I want to give you a little bit more detail on how this works. In linear time, we are all going to be starting with a remote viewing session. Typical tasking: describe and sketch your feedback target. Feedback target comes later. Here's your remote viewing session. There's judging before, so we can do something with this if we wish. And then notice here, it says precognition begins with the feedback session. And that is so true. The feedback session is where you had the information that was a panther, right? And that gets shifted back. But in linear time, these come in that order. Now, what allows you to get that? Well, guess what? Here's that handshake. Your sub is here while you're doing your feedback session, and here's where your the facts are known, if you will, but you're still trying to be in a psi state, and I'm even going to have you do a session knowing the results. But while you're doing that, you're doing a handshake with your sub back at the remote viewing session time. I mean, it actually makes sense when you see these remarkable sessions, how it happened. There had to be a handshake of some sort, which had what I call entanglement energy. This is entangling both of these. Focused attention is very important. Positive expectation, joyful emotion, all of this make this whole thing a very positive handshake, okay, begins here. Here's where you know the information. And you do a handshake connecting back here. And back here is when you put it on your transcript. Now, there's something even deeper, and this is really where the sacred part comes in. Your sub is connected to a universe of collective consciousness. That's what I like to call it because that's what it is. Ingo Swann called it the Matrix. Others have called it Akashic Record. All that is, this is non-physical, but contains all information from all sentient beings, past, present, and future. So that's why it's a true universe of collective consciousness. So it's what, in fact, is able to gather the information from the future, from the past, and share it with the handshake. So this universe of collective consciousness is the spiritual, non-physical part. Many years ago, when I started working with this, I found it hard. And I don't know why. It was a problem with me, like to use the word spiritual, God, higher self. All of that is here. All of that is in this non-physical, and it's what makes the consciousness sharing happen, if you will. So it's coming from a spiritual place. Now, Max Planck, one of the key people in the generation of quantum mechanics, I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. We cannot get behind consciousness. Everything that we talk about, everything that we regard as existing, postulates consciousness. Consciousness is fundamental. And it is fun. And you should make it fun. I mean, we're right at the leading end of consciousness research. You know, as we do more and more, and as we see so many good sessions and we ponder all of this, each of us is getting a better and better sense of kind of the spiritual nature of consciousness. Schrodinger, the key quantum mechanical equation, is named after him. Consciousness cannot be accounted for in physical terms, for consciousness is absolutely fundamental. It cannot be accounted for in terms of anything else. Now, I want to give you a little model that takes this and I think then allows us to apply it. So here's a blue circle, and it represents the universe of collective consciousness, containing everything consciousness touches. I don't know whatever word, but as soon as you have a thought, you think about it, it's in this universe of collective consciousness. So this includes anything that happened in the past, present, future, and it includes probable futures. That's where the quantum mechanics comes in. Quantum mechanics is all about probabilities. That electron can be in lots of different places until it was measured. And that's where the consciousness is fundamental comes from. But those probable futures are out there, outside of space-time energy. It just feels that way. This non-physical spiritual world is outside of space-time and energy. In fact, it's the source of space-time energy. And at this level, you need to ignore the outer boundary, since there is no outside the UCC. You tell me, come up with something that's outside the UCC as soon as you've thought about it, as soon as you've felt it. Maybe you just have a sense of it. It's in there. So this is a circle without a boundary. Yeah, it's like a Zen thing. But it's non-physical, it's spiritual. It's made up of ideas and concepts. Now, let's connect this with a physical thing. A physical thing comes from the UCC. The universal collective consciousness is fundamental. If you think of a brick, okay, the thought of the brick, oh, look at it, it says red, it's rust, I've got a specific brick here. Okay, that's a thing in the physical universe. It comes from the UCC and it has a fuzzy boundary connecting it with the UCC. I think the uncertainty principle, I don't want to get into too much more, but there's a lot in the fact that the source of it is the UCC. Now, notice the physical universe is a collection of UCC elements. The physical universe itself, space, time, energy, mass, stars, black holes, dark energy, planets, life, maybe stuff we don't know anything about. But guess what? The UCC is the non-physical universe of ideas, and it includes all of this stuff. It includes the flat Earth, when that's what we thought the Earth was. That idea was in there. Now it includes quantum mechanics. It included Newtonian physics, general relativity. There are undoubtedly future physics models that are in there that, you know, people that are in universities or who know what will get those ideas, and they will eventually be accepted as better views of our universe. Maybe that's how time travel and things like that will develop. So all future models are in there. So here's the UCC. It's got all these ideas and stuff in there, and the physical universe comes from that. And that's kind of remarkable. And yet, I believe that's the way it is. That's the way the universe works, because consciousness is fundamental. Now, I want to get into something else that's totally underestimated and which is easy to understand. And that is the now moment. You're listening to my voice. I'm saying multiple words which seem to be flowing through time. But these are a sequence of now moments, and they're in our physical world. Yeah, they come from the UCC, but the now moment is critical. You had now moments in the past, but they're in the past. You can try to remember them, and then you're remembering a now moment from the past. And who knows how accurate you are, but that's your memory of a now moment. And guess what? You can, quote, remember future moments. That's what we do when we do precognition. So, but it's a now moment that happens in the future that you're remembering in the now. That's such a key concept. So I put some other words to this. So this is consciousness through time is experienced in our physical world. The flow of time is a collection of now moments. In fact, your whole life, from the moment of conception to the moment of passing on to the non-physical, is a collection of now moments. That's your life. You can look at it that way. Each now moment has access to all probable future events via the UCC. So UCC, a now moment, its fuzzy boundary connects with the UCC, which contains everything. So it's got all probable future events in there. Now, all now and probable moments are entangled via the UCC. Okay, so in fact, that's how precognition works. I'll show you that in a minute. Now, the UCC, I mean, this is not my idea. This is actually a very, very old idea. The fact that there's a spiritual world out there. Ingo Swann called it the matrix. been called the Akashic Records, all that is, universal mind. This idea is just out there, and it's a spiritual concept. Okay, now let's make this personal, and let's relate this now to remote viewing. You and personal events. Hey, how many personal events have you had in your life? I don't think you want to remember all of them right now. So the blue is the UCC, as before, the spiritual universe with everything in it. The circles are events. So, hey, the Super Bowl is going to be an event. When did it really start? Well, they're practicing now. You know, it's got a true fuzzy boundary in it. Okay, but those are, we know what events are. There are lots and lots of nows. Now, so personal events, I'm not talking about events that you experience or multiple nows in your life. And they are first created. And this just seems so right to me. I don't know how you can prove this, but I claim there's a part of the UCC that you can claim is yours. It's your part of the UCC. All of your events are entangled, past, present, and future events, in and probable events, which are an important part of this, in a way that the word your part sort of captures it. They're all entangled together. There are in other places where, hey, ET's events, you know, they're someplace else, and they're actually entangled to you because everything is entangled in the UCC, but that's a different part. So you kind of get that concept. Now, you can ignore events, fortunately. You wouldn't want to have them there all the time. And you're able, mostly by ignoring things and focusing on other things, you can decrease entanglement with events. Well, you can increase personal event entanglements with the UCC by paying more attention. You pay more attention to this, and you get to increase the entanglement there with the UCC at first. At first, think of this as being entanglement with the UCC. Those very, very happy events that you can still easily remember, the traumatic events, these are entangled with the UCC. But there's more to this. You can do events, each having more entanglement with the UCC. For example, just to pick one out at not random, is a remote viewing event. You can increase that by, as you're doing it, paying attention to it, okay, and knowing that it's connected to your feedback event. So when you're doing both of these, you can be very aware. Paying attention seems to be the best way I can think of. You might come up with other ways, but what you want to do is increase, because remember, you're doing this in a series of now moments as an event. When you're here, you're doing this as a series of now moments in a different event. You want each of those to be deeply connected to the UCC, and then you deeply connect them to each other through the ECC. Your consciousness creates this handshake with the two events, and you can enhance the entanglement between events. That's GARV, right? Pay a lot of attention here, pay a lot of attention here, and then entanglement is going on really all the time. Remember, the UCC is sort of outside of space and time. So, okay. Now, you've seen this before. I'm not going to go through it in detail. I have added what I think is the most important element. Now that we understand that this is an event, throughout doing this event, throughout getting ready for this, past this, sort of with you all the time, is the intention of connecting remote viewing sessions with feedback sessions. Intention. Okay, so carry this kind of intention with you. Do you have any questions? I've now given you, I don't know, my compilation of what psi, this is really psi, what psi and precognition is all about. You get it? You seem like you get it. The other thing is make it deep and believe it. You know, this is a model that you can believe and that you can use actually to connect with your spiritual side. Okay, now this is something which I want to play for you. It really, well, you'll see what it gets to. It gets to. Playing, I played before. Maybe I have to play it from here. There you go. There was sound that went along with that, and I'm sorry I didn't turn this. That's I think that's just a remarkable piece. Yes, touch, taste, feeling, laughing, love, all of those are wonders of life. I think you would agree. And those all come from the spiritual. I won't play it again. Okay. Well, that was my half hour. I did pretty good. And I hope you got it and you're sure there are no questions. Okay, so let's predict the over-under for the Super Bowl. The over-under, for some of you that don't know, it's not obvious. People, if you're not in sports, there's no way you would know this. But in this case, it's the total score in any given game. So in this case, it's the 49ers points at the end of the game plus the Chiefs points at the end of the game. So there will be a final score, 30 to 40. And so that'd be 70 points. The bookmakers may have set it at 50, so it'll be over. Or maybe it'll be 14 points to 17 points. And then if the bookmakers set the over under at 50, then it would be an under. Okay. Now, here is the GARV protocol, and it's quite easy. You each do a GARV remote viewing session. I call it a GARV one because you're keeping your intuition, you're paying a lot of attention, you describe and sketch your feedback photo site, knowing the information is intuitive information is coming from your feedback session. And that's your intention. So you do your remote viewing session. I hope all of you sort of know enough to know. Basically, a remote viewing session is you'll get quiet, you're going to get a number, and you wait for the information to come through your intuitive senses from the feedback session. That's it. And you put on a sheet of paper what words and sketches that you get. Now, I will do an analysis judging of all of your transcripts. You're going to send those to me. So after you do your session, you attach it to an email, you send it to me. And here there are 2 random photo sites. Now, these are prepared, intended to be as different as possible, but I have over 600 of these, and people always seem to find some connections, but they're quite different in major features. And so this is what I do. So there are 13 of you here. Hopefully each of you will do an RV session, and that's an easy thing to do, as I say. If you've never done one before, this will be a good first time for you. You'll just get quiet, and whatever you get, you put down on a piece of paper, and then you write end, and then you send it off to me. And then after the game, you'll do your feedback session with your transcript and the feedback photo site that you'll get from a link I sent to you shortly after the game ends. So after the game ends, I will then know if it's over and under. And the 2 possible photo sites here, one is associated with over, one is associated with under. I will send you via the link whatever the actual outcome is. Now, this is the key step. The prediction is not completed until a thorough, detailed feedback session is completed. And I'm going to tell you about that, how I think what you need to do. Now, I've been thinking very hard about whether I should share with you what the group prediction is. And some of you will not like it, but I have chosen, I will not share it with you. In GARV, we do not share the group predictions because what matters is this step. When you have your transcript, you have your photo site, how well did you do? That's all that matters. And by looking at that and by paying attention to that, and paying a lot of attention to it, so your transcript indeed matches what actually happens, you will learn. You will learn. And this is not something you want to do once We have 5 sessions a week. And I don't know what else to say. So I am not going to share it with you. And I told you why. One of the reasons people in the past have not done very well is they paid too much attention on wagering, for example, too much attention on looking at both photosites. Notice you will not see both photosites. I'm the only one that will see both photosites. I will share this with you. There's something that used to happen a fair amount, not that much, but a fair amount, where the people would describe the wrong photo, the one that wasn't their feedback. And they were reading somebody's mind, their own mind, possibly, because they saw both of them. This is one of the things that cannot happen here. This idea came from someone else, and I forgot his name. So this idea of a group judging, not showing the photo sites, came from someone else. Paying enormous attention to the feedback. I think I'm emphasizing that more than anybody else. I've emphasized it in the past. I'm emphasizing it more now. Okay, any questions about that? That's the GARV protocol. Now, some of you who are already in the webinar workshop list have actually already gotten the tasking because I've sent it out. But I think some of you I know I don't recognize are brand new, and I'd like to add you to that list because I do these first Wednesday of the month free webinars, and you might want to come to other ones. So if you would like to do that in the chat box, please put your email address and I will add you this. There you go. I am happy to do that. I want as many people as possible to be learning about this. So I've got that one. I've got Mark. There. I'm very happy. I hope that you will become members of app. I think I've got everybody on that list. Okay, so I've now added you directly, so you should get an email. One email mirror of the okay, Joe. It can you see this portion of my screen? But it says one email address is the primary or alternate address of an existing member. So you're already a member, so you'll get our taskings. But you're not a member of this group, and that's fine. I'll give the tasking out newly each time. Okay. So You know what I would like to do? This is sort of a tangent, but really important. Here's our website. Let me put this here too, in case. Um, oh, okay. Okay, so I want everybody to see that. And we have a conference coming up, but that's not what I want here, is to give you our membership page where you can do free members or full members. Full members allow you to do multiple predictions a week, which I recommend, but you can do one per week for free. And let me put this in here too, because I hope you will all become members. Okay, fair enough. So let's close that. Let's see, sometimes this comes up real fast. Yeah, there you go. So here are all of you who just joined. So you should see your names here. Okay, so let me get rid of that. I don't want it to use up resources. And let's go back here. Now, the tasking, and here is the tasking which I sent out, and at least one person has already done it, which is fine. I like when you do it here, but if you want to do it before, but they only got it a couple of hours ago. And all of them for the other groups that you might want to join have simple taskings like this. It says Super Bowl. Here it is, webinar workshop. I hope you join other groups. And if you don't know how to do that, just email me and I will have that happen. And here's the event is the Super Bowl on the 11th. Here's the start date, which is the Super Bowl, and now the transcripts are due today. The tasking is always described in sketch. Will the Super Bowl total score be over and under? Now, once you get this in the email, it'll be hot. I've made it here so I can press it. So the next page you will get is this, and let me put this in the chat box. So some of you that didn't get it directly, this is what you would get in your email. So if you do not have it, press it now, and you'll get a page that looks exactly like this with webinar workshop down there. Is that true? Did all of you get this page? Did any of you have problems getting the page? You got that page? Yes, yes. And no one did, tell me now. Okay, very good. So on this page, and remember, this comes from a very simple tasking. This whole thing is very simple. All you do is click the hot link that will be there, just like what you clicked here. And then you put in your email and put it in twice, because I've had a lot of trouble with people not doing the same thing. So you do your email twice, then you click this, and you will get, and you can be doing it, and you should be doing it now. And you will get a page like this, which has it's called a coordinate in some protocols. It's called transcript reference numbers in others. But it is the unique number associated with your feedback target. hey, feedback target, the thing that you're going to get information from, right? And that is going to be put at the top of your transcript. We're going to actually be using two of these meditations. I think meditation is valuable here. And at the end, I'll actually give you links so you can get those here. If you want, when you're getting ready to do your transcript, you could click that. But now we're going to do this differently because I want to describe a little more. So I'll now go back here. So all of you have this, your unique number, put it on top of a page that's going to become your transcript. Right? We saw that. We saw that. So now on the top of a page, put the coordinate transcript reference number. I recommend saying it out loud, and then you say it out loud at feedback time, another kind of entanglement. And then you do your preliminaries, you put the name, the date, the time, the group. In this case, it's webinar workshop. On the right side is going to become analytical overlays. What you're going to be doing, and we're getting very close to doing this, is you drop your intellect ego. It believes this, but it's going to try to help. But it's got nothing to do but make guesses. Sometimes the guesses are right, but you really want to drop the intellect and the ego. Its only job is to put information which comes from your intuitive side about the feedback information, okay? So its job is to write stuff on this transcript. There's an important sense that you get after you do enough of these, which is the sense that it's coming from your intuition and not your analytics. So we have a place on the right where you put the analytical overlay, and there's a different sense when you feel your ego, your intellect is jumping in and trying to help, but you put that information over here. Okay. And then once you do that, okay, so let's actually get ready to do it. Some of your old timers have probably already started, and that's fine. But breathing is just a good way of doing a transition between what has been going on, including all this chatter, all this talk I've been doing. You want to get rid of all of that, be happy, relax, open your mind, breathe, have a positive thoughts. Cool down is very important. Joe McMonagle, one of the best viewers in the world, does cool down till he has a sense he's made connection with the feedback. Tom McNair, also a great viewer, worked with Ingo, one of the first viewers. He likes to do a silent prayer to an all-knowing entity he calls God. So we're getting quiet now. This is the beginning of the cool down. We're going to do a cool down with a meditation, which is going to be 4 minutes. I'm going to start you with that. And then I have something which is just sounds, but they're designed to get you deep and connect you with a deep sense here. If you don't like it, turn your sound off. That'll be 7 minutes. Set your intention. Intention. Entangle, connect with your feedback session. Do that now. And then you're going to pay attention to what your subconscious gives you from the UCC. And you're going to put all that on your transcript. And I will tell you, and that's its only job, is to do the transcript. And I'll tell you when there's a minute left. Okay, so I would like you all to have this meditation. So let us take some words into meditation, repeated simple phrases. First of all, just allow yourself to repeat. Do not be afraid. Imagine that is being said to you by your wise teacher that you acknowledge, Jesus, your Buddha nature, the Prophet, Allah, the universe, nature. But somewhere echoing around the universe is that deep-seated voice that says, don't be afraid. And perhaps as we touch into that phrase of don't be afraid, we recognize that as human beings we exist on many planes of existence, from our mortal frame, our minds and bodies, to an aspect of our being that is immortal, the soul, our essence. Each of us, during our lives may touch into that truth. It may sometimes seem far away, sometimes may seem close. Some of us may live it moment by moment, recognizing that we are not just who we think we are. We're not our roles, our identities. So be open now, deep in our consciousness, deep in the unconscious. Allow ourselves to say quite simply, I am. Breathe in the word, I. Breathe out the word, am. Just sit for a moment, breathing, I am. Encouraging the sense of simply being. No need for an addition that I am this, or I am that, or I'm experiencing this. But I am open to, receptive to the deepest, very core of our being. This I amness has been said throughout time in all traditions. It is eternal. It is immortal. We open ourselves, are receptive to our essential nature, which does not know death. The we who we think we are may pass away, the world may pass away, but it is only one plane of consciousness. Deep in the very core of our being is the immortal I amness, which all beings, all life, all creation possesses. And as we touch into that essential I amness, as we breathe in the word I, breathe out the word am. We remember that those are the very words when asked, who are you, of the divine? That is exactly what the divine says. I am. And we say, I am. And all beings say, I am. The whole universe is saying, I am. From this deep place, generate your transcript from the feedback information. 1 minute of the 7 minutes is left. However, if you would like to go longer, please do. Okay, you did it. At this point, and I'm talking, that's the only reason we stop. But if you want to keep going, keep going. But at the end of your transcript, write end or EOS, which indicates that's the end of the transcript. And that's always a good idea so that your subconscious and all of you know that you're done. And then send me via an attachment, or you can put it in an email, but send me your transcript so I can judge them all. I think you all have my email, but I'll put it in here. So let me give you some time to do that. Those of you who are watching, I have access, and I'm just sort of sharing that with you. So I'll have access. Or at least I can tell. I actually won't have access. Mhm. Okay. Okay, good. I've got two of them. Plus an old one. Excellent. They're coming in. Mm, so I'll be able to find them. Protection. Okay, that might be everybody, but if you're still working on it, just submit it when you can. And I will indeed use it. Please find my attach. Okay, so I have all of these. It's going to be fun to be going over them, judging them, and then I'll have a group prediction, which I will not share, but you'll know how well you do. And that's all that really matters when you get your feedback. Okay, any questions? Good. Okay, what I'm now going to tell you is this approach, which is really key, because this is the information which goes back to the remote viewing session you just did. So after the game, I'm going to send you the link. You'll be able to see the feedback, but you're not done. You're just starting the most important part. So we call this positive feedback. First thing you do is circle or mark the matches on your transcript. So this is fun. Whatever you got right, acknowledge that and mark it. Second step, on a new sheet of paper, do the remote viewing session you wish you had done. So you've got the the feedback now, and so what did you miss in the tiger example you saw? Um, Maybe you didn't draw anything that looked like, not tiger, the panther, or anything. You didn't get black. Lots of things you didn't get. Make the one here, but still you do it in the way you do an RV session. You don't trace it or anything like that. You do it in the style of a remote viewing session, and you just capture the major stuff. So a simple sketch, um, um, new words or phrases. And then consciously enjoy this, have positive emotions and feelings. You're doing amazing stuff here. Now, this is, and I always say this for almost everything I do, we do healing. Hey, add love and joy to the whole process. You're surrounding that as you're doing your session, paying attention to your session. That will assist with the transfer, the entanglement with the remote viewing session. And remember, you're going to keep that intention with you. I am doing this, and I am doing it intending to share this with my earlier remote viewing session. So This takes more time than the remote viewing session generally. I think it would be useful to do a meditation before you do this, just to get into a quiet place, which will help the intention, but the viewer is in charge. So yeah, some of you may want to remember this will be um, um, this is being recorded, and so this will be sent to all of you. And there's one last thing which might be helpful, and I only recommend doing this during the feedback session. It lists the major categories like textures. There may very well be some textures there which you didn't capture, and this will give you some of the words that you might possibly use. Colors, of course, smells, tastes, temperatures, sounds, and dimensions, outside, inside, flat, across. He's pretty much, and this was Daz Smith, he goes back, as far as I do, he goes back to the beginning of all this stuff. There's something called aesthetic impacts. While you were doing your session, did you feel amazement, afraid? Looking at these words sensitizes you to the next time. Yes, you might have missed some of these possible words, but they also might expand your vocabulary, and you can use it for the next time. If any of you want, let me know, email me, and I'll be glad to send a copy of this to you. Remember, all of this is going to be in a the YouTube playback, but you know, this is something you might want to have separate and print it out. Okay. Remember, we started out talking about this being sacred, and this is a beautiful quote. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. That's the idea, that it starts in the spiritual world, in the UCC and the Akashic Record. That's where it all starts. The physical world is created from there. And one of the ways you're acknowledging that, and that's why I think GARV is so important, because that's acknowledging that by the very fact that you're doing it. You're acknowledging that you are primarily a spiritual being having a human experience. Okay, so just seems to me there's a lot we could talk about here, but I'm leaving that up to you. Seem to be a pretty quiet group. The objective of this is to have you get better and better. And if you focus on your feedback sessions and let your intuition guide your remote viewing sessions, that's the trick. And I recommend doing this often. Joe McMonagle used to do 6 remote viewing sessions a week. Do we have questions? Do we have comments? And I can put these meditation things in the chat box, I think. Let's see if this works. That's how we want to end it. So how do you feel about all of this? And even more importantly, are you going to do it? I would love to get, this is off of the internet,
So let us take some words into meditation, repeated simple phrases. first of all, just allow yourself to repeat.
I'll pause that. We don't have to listen to that
Do what
again.
we
What I want to copy over is the link. So there's that link. You know, then you can save it any place you like. And then the same thing with Sam. And I'm just going to keep going. I love that. That Sam is just so restful and everything and beautiful. And it seems to be very powerful for healing and powerful here too. Okay, no questions, comments. I hope you'll go to our website, become a member, ask to join one or more of the groups. So you're all happy campers with this. And I'll end it with one of my best endings: love, wisdom, beauty, joy, all wonderful spiritual concepts. And then sayings people have put together. The end of all wisdom is love, love, love. The key is to stay in the moment, the now. And it's true, joy is found. Information about the future is found in the now moment with intention to get the information from the future. Love has reasons which reason cannot understand. Okay, I am done. I will not end this formally yet because there may be some things you want to copy from the chat box. Give us another few minutes. That's true. You can copy from the screen, something like that. That one in particular. No, I just had a thought. After I send you the link, and maybe give you a day to do your positive feedback session and all that, maybe we can have another webinar. Would you like to have another webinar and talk about the whole process? Not clear. Joe and Mark, you two look like you're pondering. What are you guys pondering? Talk to me. Hi, Srinivas. Do you have a question? There you go.
I mean, I'm new to this ARV, Marty. First thing, like, thank you for this very informative session. I was into this remote viewing, but a beginner level. But this is very informative because I'm trying to see how our intention plays a key role especially with getting the feedback from the future event. So I was trying to ask people, I mean, many people about the same thing. So I gave them a scenario that let's say I wanted to buy a book from a book sale in a week or so. So I need to get the book information. Like, how can I do that? The future information in the present time. And this webinar explained me really well, giving me that kind of I mean, it's just aligned. I just had a conversation yesterday, and then I'm getting the answer now. Yeah.
Good. Thank you
So
for that. And yet use it. This can be used in so many other ways once you understand the concept. And
thank
once
you
you
so
get,
much.
you're very well. Okay, then I think I will in fact end this, the share. And I'm going to end it. And thank you all for joining me, and keep precogging.